it is absolutely crucial for you to choose your own leaders. And I felt really inspired to come on here and share this with everybody because in today's day and age, if you don't choose your leaders, you are being given leadership by the least among us, right? The easiest to control, the biggest sellouts. And this is from one of my leaders, even though he's passed on, Terrence McKenna. He said, "We are being led by the least among us, the least talented, the least intelligent." And this is because when you allow your leaders to be chosen from you, for you, by the people with the media, the money, the control, the powers that be, the influence, when you allow uh, those leaders to choose your leaders, you are essentially giving up your autonomy and you're essentially voting for these people. And this is why I personally never vote, because I choose my leaders in my everyday life, right? When I meet somebody with wisdom, when I meet somebody with knowledge, when I meet somebody with energy or joy and love bubbling from their being, that's my leaders, right? So you have an opportunity to put your energy into people, to put your uh, heart and soul vote into people, instead of just allowing your leaders to be just, handpicked by people that don't have your best interests involved. And this is very clear when you look at people like, look at how much support Trump has. Look at how much support complete morons like David Asprey, or what's his name, the guy, I don't even remember the guy's name, but you can, so many influencers, right? They're handpicked, right? Either they're handpicked by privilege, right? Their mom and daddy got millions, billions of dollars, so they just, pay their way through Instagram, through sponsorships, and get all this elevated platform. And even media outlets that used to be independent, like Gaia Channel, are now just loaded with these beehive girls that they got the looks like they stuck their head in a beehive because they got these plastic surgery like this and Botox like this, and they're talking about manifesting money and manifesting your dream life. They're like, don't let these hand-picked, uh, privileged uh, leaders influence your life, because that's not spirituality. And that's what happens when you have this capitalist regime of like, okay, I got $1 billion, so I head to the top. Mom and daddy gave me $1 billion to start my influencer campaign, $1 million to start my influencer campaign, and that rises to the top really quickly because it's money. So this has been really hitting my heart recently because I am very lucky to have chosen my own leaders, and I have, Qigong masters, Reiki masters, Buddhist masters, my gurus, my teachers from different places in the world, my medicine women and medicine men that I've met in my life, and even just like average friends. And like I say average meaning like day to day people that don't have, these giant influencer campaigns, because I want to say right after that they are far above average in intelligence and all of these things. I'm very lucky to have these people and have chosen these people, you know, to be leaders in my life. And this whole video, and why I had to get on the live to make it a long rant, is that if we continue going down this path of just being lazy and sitting back and like, oh, I really don't like Trump, but he's the only option we got, or Kamala or whatever, or like, I really don't agree with what Dave Asprey or whatever these people, or like the Beehive girls with the Botox are saying, but they appeared on my story, so I gotta, listen to what they have to say. this is how we're gonna continue to like collapse as a society, because especially I wanted to hit on this topic with spirituality, right? Like people I know personally, but also these influencer girls. Uh, and I want to keep calling out the plastic surgery because it's it's not only aesthetic garbage, but it's a waste, right? And I always think when I see these like people like these spiritual, manifester uh girls that claim to be this great teacher and they have this great following and they got this big Botox in the lips and the big fake boobies, and it's like the amount of money that you and I'm refraining from using any curse words to try and keep it clean to be respectful, but the amount of help you can do philanthropically with that millions and billions of dollars, thousands and hundreds of thousands of dollars that people are spending on plastic surgery because they can't feel good about themselves through natural spiritual progression and abandoning the ego rather than enforcing the ego. That alone is just like, please, like, get that money into like my hands, or like some people that like are actually gonna put it towards ecological farming and permaculture, and inspiring the youth and going down into places that really need assistance in this country and another country, and building homes and like helping people out, because like my friends do that, and it's not impossible to do that, but like these people that are, you know, all about manifestation for yourself. Like when I was in Nepal, like I was very lucky to, blessed to learn from my teacher, one of my gurus, Amrit Tokar, who's like a brother in Nepal. And these people, they're not thinking about themselves. Like when they're doing manifestation, right? As it's become this like key word in people's brains nowadays in the spiritual community, they're not doing it for like, oh, I'm gonna get a Benz and I'm gonna get this like all this money in this house. They're like thinking about you. They don't even know you. They're thinking about how can I transmit peace? How can I transmit love? How can I use my personal spiritual power to kill demons, to kill the ignorance, to slice through the darkness in life? And that's like what we should really be using this manifestation. Like this, the secret and everything is got out of hand to where people are just like, you know, and encouraging others to, I'm gonna manifest my $800,000 a year business. I'm gonna manifest this car. I'm gonna manifest this vacation. It's like, yeah, like take care of yourself. Like maybe go to work and get a job, and do something that contributes to society, uh, instead of pretending like you just like poof. Like I believe in manifestation. Please don't get me wrong. I believe that you can utilize your mental and spiritual energies to create influences in the world. But I know people personally that are like, "Oh, I manifested this car, I manifested this house and stuff." And it's like, I personally know that your mom and dad has a lot of money. Like I personally know these people. And I wanted to call her out on it, but I just couldn't. I couldn't do it because she's going off on this tangent of like, you like, and it's not even about helping other people anymore. It's like, just look at me, I'm this, you know like chick that's got, I'm driving in this fancy car in Dubai, and I'm going on leading all these retreats, and I'm like, I really hope during these retreats that they're like reminding people that that's not what it's all about. Or else just freaking join the Illuminati and sell your soul and like live a rock star life. Like no one's stopping you from doing that if you wanna like be this like manifesting sorcerer or sorceress that's just like all about me, forget about the world. Like the world doesn't have problems, the world doesn't have anything to solve right now. We have so many problems right now that we're on a steam a steam train going straight off the edge, and people are still talking about themselves. People still talking about, oh, look at me, I got this Benz, and it's gone into the spiritual community, and this is a problem because anyone who's got real wisdom knows that desire and putting your ego above and your material desires above helping your community or helping your brother and sister in your spiritual tribe in your life is like, that's the downfall of humanity. And now we have these, I keep calling them beehive plastic surgery girls and guys too, with the steroids and the fake abs and stuff, and they're promoting this ego, this materialism. And we already have the path paved out for us to heal humanity, right? Like in the Himalayas and the ancient East and in South America with the shamans, that they taught about, they taught about letting go of your ego, connecting into this web of life, connecting to this oneness, and generosity and good karma that comes from generosity, and like being in this state of desirelessness. And like there's a great quote from a great scholar of Islam and the Middle East of you know desire makes slaves of kings, and kings from servants and people who were in a situation of being oppressed. So forget all this manifestation, freaking like me manifestation, and let's start to manifest, being a leader in your own life, choosing leaders in your own life that maybe necessarily don't have the money or influence yet to have this big platform. And please, please, please help me and help like humanity boycott these bullshit fucking people that are, they got the million followers. Because let's be honest, if you pay Instagram a lot of money, which is a whole nother bad topic, right? You will go to the top really quickly. And so are we gonna allow this like pay to win to like keep manifesting in our culture, whereas like instead of giving love and gratitude to like our mentors and our teachers and our wise friends and family in our life, we're gonna give it away to some politician or some celebrity or some influencer that like has no idea what it means to really like make it spiritually in their life. And also understand that these people lie, right? Like people are taking these people's word for it. They're just like there's this guy Gary V, Gary Vaynerchuk, and he's like big in like the wealth bro community and blah blah blah. And I'm like, I had an ex-girlfriend show me him years ago, and I'm like, this guy's full of fucking crap. And she's like, what? No, he's great. He teaches you how to make money and make it on your own. I'm like, this dude got it handed to him. I could tell, I could smell that straight from the get-go. And lo and behold, I found a video of him going, oh, when my dad died, I inherited $1 million liquor company. And that's putting it like lightly, right? So it's like freaking Trump with like, I started off with a small loan of $1 million. Like these people are starting out, at the finish line financially, and then and then they're pretending like, oh yeah, I ran the whole race. Yo, you didn't even train for the race. you took a helicopter and landed in freaking La Jolla in Beverly Hills and started at the finish line. So that's part of the huge reason I'm very passionate about getting this video out here today. That we really, really, really have to stop giving our power away lazily to these people that didn't earn it. You know, I'm a huge believer, like they do in India and in China traditionally, of like really, really honor your teachers, right? Like teachers in your life, they could be, you know, your school teacher or your coach or, you know, um, your friend or your uncle or auntie, your grandma, grandpa, where brother, someone in your life that has given you, you know, that classic guru experience. Gu, darkness, ru, light. So anyone in your life, they could be younger than you, they could be older than you, they could look one way, they could look another way, they could have one ethnicity, they could have another ethnicity. Anyone can be your guru because gu is darkness, ru is light. Gu is ignorance, ru is wisdom, right? So you can have a 5-year-old guru. It could be your little cousin that's like beaming with light and says something really wise. It doesn't have to like be somebody with freaking all this clout and Instagram followers. It's just we're like I said before, we're going on this train straight off a cliff, and unless we get off this train and like choose some new conductors, choose some new pilots, maybe to start by, you know, taking control of your own vessel, right? Then we're gonna start going on the right path. But if we keep being lazy and just like all of the first thing I see on Instagram, first thing I see on YouTube, which is always gonna be handpicked by uh, capitalism, by the top of the wealth spectrum, then we're just gonna keep going straight off the cliff because it's much more profitable to be evil than to be good. And that's excluding, you know, giving charity, right? Comes right back to you karmically. So that I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about if you're going to deal drugs like these doctors do, or you're going to get people sick and then get them hooked on another pill and another pill and another pill, that's a very profitable business model in this world. So that's what I meant by it's very profitable to be evil in this world, right? So starting from there, that just further enhances my point of, you know, like these people that start out with all these millions of followers and this or political leadership or whatever, blah blah blah. Uh, they're already selling out in some way, and clear as day, like the carnivore movement. First of all, first of all, first of all, it's necrovore, right? Because the a necrovore is like a vulture or a hyena that eats dead animals that have already been killed by something else. A carnivore is like a lion who, with their own claws and mouth, kills the thing and eats it themselves. But besides the fact, the carnivore movement is very, very obviously, to me at least, funded by Big Pharma because Big Pharma profits from you getting cancer. And meat is already classified carcinogen. Processed meat is a class 1 carcinogen, and all meat is processed, by the way, unless you go and shoot the deer in the face yourself, which the average person can't even do, regardless of like wanting to do it, is a whole nother moral story that most people can't fathom either. But even the quote unquote healthiest meat is still class 2A carcinogen. So obviously that's gonna fund this whole disgusting, repulsive, money oozing chemo, radiation industry, which killed one of my best friends, which killed my uncle, you know. And I refuse to call it therapy because radiating somebody with poison and chemicals is not therapy. Um, but going back to the root of what I was saying, this carnivore influencer movement is so heavily funded by the government, who puts in $38 billion yearly of your money, our money, tax money, by the way, into meat and dairy industry funding subsidies, because that's an investment for them, right? That's why we got to choose our own leaders, because those leaders being chosen for us, and they all have a seat on the council of the World Environmental Forums, which is also disgusting because of the amount of pollution that these industries cause. But the sickness and the 30 plus animal borne illnesses and the cancer and the heart disease is an investment for them, right? It's sick. It's disgusting because it's like $38 billion is a lot of money for us, but for people who have it, corporations, for the government, that turns into trillions. And I can't even fathom trillions of dollars, to be honest. And that in and of itself is an investment for them, because if they pay a few people off to be an idiot and be like, oh, let's all eat raw meat, and here's the reason why plants are bad for you, even though most of them are medicinal and most of them have phyto nutrients and phytomedicine that kills cancer. Ooh, let that one out of the bag. Hopefully they don't kill me. Like, but anyways, government subsidies, all this $38 billion of all this carnivore marketing, all this influencer bullshit, and then that turns into $5 trillion because now they got people hooked on heart disease meds. Now they got people going through the ringer with chemo because they got cancer, because meat is a carcinogen. And then you got people with the chlamydia and E. coli and influenza, and the list goes on and on for animal-borne illnesses. And not even mentioning that they're leading people off the path of your heart, right? It's a different story if you're a boomer or whatever and you grew up with not so much exposure to the knowledge of plant medicine or to the knowledge of how, like, disgusting the meat and dairy industry is. But I'm going on a rant and a tangent now of really go for grassroots leaders. Like, even the Dalai Lama is corrupt, and he had ties to Epstein and all this stuff, and he was on the, I forget if it was the CIA or FBI payroll or something, and he had political friends or whatever. But like, my big thing I tell people is, who gave you the spotlight, right? As you can see here with how many people are watching this video, I don't have a spotlight because I don't sell out. I didn't sell out in any way, shape, or form. So my plate is clean. So I'm not going to have 5 million followers. Maybe if I play my cards right and get people on the bandwagon, then it can grow. But always be mindful of people who have this platform, right? Who gave them that platform? Right? And I kind of think of, even though it's like a weird example, like Ariana Grande and the weird Cynthia girl, they're both really weird. With all their interviews, and they're just like, really, something's wrong with them. They're probably like doing that adrenochrome stuff or whatever, but people are like watching them and learning from them, and I'm like, do you really want to be filling your mind up with that as leadership? Like, they were getting like triggered by just like everyday normal activities that or were exchanges conversationally, and they're your leaders. They are the best we got. And don't get me going on the big orange guy. I hate that people have thought that I voted for him or liked him or anything, because I talked a lot of shit about Kamala and Biden, and so people automatically went, "Oh, so you like Trump?" No, I fucking hate him too. They, I despise all of them so much, you would not believe it. Um, but like, how are you and I able to steer the ship away from that type of society? Don't sell out, right? Trump got his power, you know, because a bunch of people slurped his schlong and went along with his family line of his family was already rich, right? But people went along with that whole like Weinstein, Epstein shit of like that power dynamic of like, oh, I'm gonna climb the ladder by you know, agreeing with this person or siding with this person. These people are not our leaders. Uh, I do not consent to any president. I do not consent to any politician. I do not consent to our tax dollars be used to bomb children out in the Middle East and take over foreign countries for oil. I consent to love, peace, cosmic collaboration, and people who are really, you know, knowledgeable about the elements, about the environment, you know how to work with the earth and be a part of the earth in a way that's symbiotic and connected to the web of life. Those are the people that I consent to being my leaders, right? I have people like uh, my friend in Costa Rica who she's got a totally permaculture farm, and she's working totally with the earth and knows so much about medicine and grows cacao and grows ginger and grows all these medicinal fruits and roots, and that's one of my leaders. And then I got a couple that I know, I won't shout out their name, but they know who they are, that I was super inspired by again when I was in Costa Rica, that they're just super healthy and fit and doing the right thing by the planet Earth and doing the right thing by their family and you know different qigong teachers and holistic healing teachers I have in my life. These are the people that those are the people that I'm like, yeah, you're one of my leaders, right? So you personally, if you're watching this video, and I hope some people watch this video because it's an important message, the final note: choose your leaders. Hey, I'm leader. I'm a leader to somebody. I'm a Reiki master and mentor to a lot of people now, and people trust what I say. And usually, I got some pretty good information. So, you know, some people have chosen me as a leader. Some people have, you know, people in their family, in their friendship group, that are grassroots, down to earth people that can take you to that next level, and take you into a better world. So that's my message. Stop letting your leaders be chosen for you and start choosing your leaders yourself, and forget all these influencers, forget all these politicians, boycott them, pretend like they don't exist, because even like my hatred of them is kind of giving them energy. Forget them. Whatever, if they put it on the TV, put it on the news, just be like, oh, they're probably evil. just assume that they're sellouts, because they usually are, and then redirect your energy into people in your daily life that really love and give life and light and knowledge to the world. Peace. I don't know how to end this live.